What's happening, guys? Welcome to Let's Talk Comics, and tonight we are going to talk about all the copies of the Batman Deadpool crossover that DC put out. I know I am a little bit late to the party on talking about these books, but I have had them on standby, waiting to talk about them. And before I decided to put them up, I decided I was going to go ahead and get to this, stop putting it off. So here we go. Sitting at the top, this is the Sean Murphy Lobo Deadpool cover. Looking at this cover here, I think that they really should give Sean Murphy this book. Give him a one-shot, a full-on one-shot to do, because he really captures the spirit of the main man and the Merc with a mouth right here in just this cover. Then we have this one here. This one is by Derek Chu, I believe his name is. This is a Psylocke versus Katana cover. And I think if I had to choose who would win in this fight, I would probably go Psylocke, because she has mutant powers. However, I can't put it past Katana, because Katana has a magic sword that has the souls of everyone it's killed in there. So a sword that has hundreds and hundreds of souls versus someone that could read minds, that could be a very big matchup problem right here for Psylocke. Then we have, not sure who the artist is on this one, but we've got Wonder Woman versus Miss Marvel right here, Carol Danvers. Then we have an Amanda Connor, Hulk, and Harley Quinn in a hot dog eating contest. Then we have looks like a Marvel Zombies variant of Deadpool holding up. He's got what looks like Wolverine's claw attached to the skeleton hand of Wolverine. And you see in the reflection, you see Wolverine. So maybe he ripped this off of Wolverine and is using it as a weapon. That's pretty cool. Then we have right here, we've got Batman Punisher. And looks like Punisher is hiding behind this incredibly small column. I guess he doesn't think Batman. This is like when a kid, when a kid's trying to hide from you, and they think because they can't see you that you can't see them. There's like no way that Batman doesn't know that Punisher's there. Then we have, this is a Black Cat, or I'm sorry, Catwoman and Emma Frost cover. Then we have, this was kind of like the generic basic A version, Dan Moore cover. Then we have a Gambit, and looks like maybe Damian Wayne right here. Jay Lee, I believe this is, Big Barda and Savage Land Rogue. And then here we have I think this is Ryan Sook, a Crisis of Infinite Earths 9, I believe it is, the Death of Supergirl homage right here, with Batman holding a dead Deadpool. Then Lee Bergamo, I'm not sure how that's pronounced, Joker and Doctor Doom. Then we have another Deadpool in the Batcave. This is a fold out. I think this is Jorge Jimenez. I could be mistaken about that. Then we have a Magic and another Catwoman. I believe this is Jeff Deckel. I think this would be a very interesting crossover of these two meeting right here, because they're both such strong-willed individuals. Then we have I believe this is Jim Lee, Batman and Wolverine right here. Kind of no, that's not Jim Lee. What does that say right there? I'm not sure who that is off the top of my head. but it's kind of a static pose for both of them. Really nothing out of the ordinary. Now this here was kind of a mashup character that appeared later on in the book. So I think this was called Deadbat. And I want to say this is Jorge Jimenez right here. Now we have Zatanna and Scarlet Witch. This would be a very interesting crossover, I think, as well. I'd like to see them two meet in a big book. Although, I gotta say, I really prefer Scarlet Witch as the mutant. But she's been involved in so much mysticism over the last handful of years that it would be more of a natural fit, I suppose, with Zatanna. Now this right here would be a really good crossover. Wonder Woman and Captain America right here. I really like this. I really like this vibe right here. This is a strong cover. I could see them doing this here in some World War II era book. Captain America is investigating something going on here in the States. He encounters Wonder Woman. They have a classic superhero case of mistaken identity battle. Then they realize they're after the same person. That would be really cool right there. Then we got a Frank Quitely, Batman and Deadpool here. Constantine and Stephen Strange. I kind of think this would be cool as well. You have Stephen Strange being the guy who actually has mystic training, who encountered the Ancient One, who studied under him, versus John Constantine, who's just like a guy who learned magic all on his own and just has an affinity for it. So you've got basically the upstart, and then you've got the rogue right here. So that would be definitely some very cool interaction. Then we have X-23 Wolverine and Nightwing. I remember liking this story in the book. They had good chemistry together. And then this is a holofoil, not holofoil, but just a straight up foil cover. I think if I had to say that I think I liked the DC team up book better than I did the other one. And then this last one, Storm and Wonder Woman. Of course, this would make a great issue by Jenny Friesen, ever how that's pronounced. I would pay to see a whole book of this. But I gotta say that I enjoyed the Batman Deadpool more so than I did the Deadpool Batman. And I mean, obviously that's no slouch to the previous, no shade to the previous one, but Grant Morrison is a pretty much more acclaimed writer than I think it was Zeb Wells. So, no shockers there. But both of the stories were really strong. But if I had to give a vote, I would probably give it to Batman Deadpool. Just a slight advantage. I was really surprised at how well Grant Morrison handled the Deadpool character. Because sometimes I tend to think of Grant Morrison as being kind of a smug writer. He kind of writes stuff, and I'm sorry I said I meant to say Grant. Grant Morrison sometimes writes things that I feel are above my level, and sometimes I'm like, man, can you dumb it down a little bit? I think with Grant Morrison, there's no need for 10-cent words when a 5-cent word will do. That's how I feel sometimes about him. But Grant definitely is well cultured, well traveled, has spent a lot of time reading about mental exercises, mindscape, magic, expanding your consciousness. Grant talked about all that in the book Super Gods that Grant Morrison wrote, and talked about experiences that they encountered throughout travels. So those definitely appear in Grant Morrison's work quite a bit. But I was happy to say that this Batman Deadpool book did not seem to have any of that. It was, for all intents and purposes, a very by the paint by numbers crossover. So that is all the copies of Batman Deadpool variants that I had. Finally getting to do a video on them, and I'm only 2 months late. That's not bad at all. So you guys have a good night, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.